This is a vaccine. This is Pfizer, awarded an emergency use authorization for kids 5 to 11 years old. Okay. The reason why this is so important is that this vaccine and for this age group will now cover over 28 million kids. In other words, this opens up the opportunity for over 28 million people to get vaccinated, which is going to greatly help our fight against COVID. Guys, this is so important because remember, the more people that are vaccinated, the more it shuts down transmission of the virus, the less likely there are to be variants. Because remember, there's like Delta Plus floating around and all sorts of stuff. The more this virus transmits, the more likely it is to create variants, the more likely people are to get sick. They may have bad outcomes, etc. So 28 million kids will be eligible for to get this vaccine, which is super, super exciting. You should also have a lot of confidence with this vaccine, especially parents definitely talking to you guys and caretakers and stuff like that. The CDC committee that voted on approving this literally voted unanimously, 14-0, said, yes, we need this vaccine. And then, of course, Rochelle Walensky, the CDC director, came behind and gave her final stamp of approval. Okay. Once again, the vaccine will be able to be given ASAP. That is like now. Okay. And the thing about it is a lot of people say, well, is it really that big of a deal with kids, right? That actually still is floating around. There are a number of people that still are wondering, is this really that big of a deal for kids, right? Let me give you some stats that I think hopefully will let you know how big of a deal this is for kids and what this means. You're absolutely right that kids are less likely to get COVID. They're less likely to get severely ill from COVID. But if you think that it doesn't happen, you're definitely wrong with that. Kids can still get COVID. Not only can they get COVID, but by the way, 6 million kids have been diagnosed with COVID since the beginning of the pandemic. 6 million. Guys, that's a ton of kids, right? We know what happens when kids get COVID. Their school attendance is disrupted, obviously, their livelihood, etc. And let's not remember that kids can still get very, very ill. 745 kids under the age of 18 have died from COVID since the beginning of the pandemic. So let's not think that it doesn't affect kids, because yes, it does. If I were the parent of a child who passed away from COVID complications, I would be the first one to step up. And I mean, I don't have to have that experience to step up and tell you that no, kids have died from this. They have. And if they haven't died, there have been many kids who've been hospitalized with COVID complications, many kids who have been put in the ICU. And sometimes kids have long-term consequences. It's possible, theoretically, for kids to get long COVID. There's still a lot we don't know, and we don't know enough. Do you really want your child to be potentially subjected to the possibility of long COVID if they were to get COVID, especially when there's so much we don't know about it? Also, MISC, multi-system inflammatory syndrome in children. That's the syndrome that kind of resembles like a Kawasaki's inflammatory condition. It can affect the blood vessels, things like that. Very, very serious. So yes, it's true that kids are not likely to, they're not as likely to get sick with COVID and be severely ill, but they can be. Okay. And that's why this is important. And the fact that 6 million kids they've been diagnosed with COVID, which I think is amazing. I don't think we always think about it like that. A few other things. And also just to kind of sort of drive this point home. So as of 10/28 recently, 6.4 million kids have been tested positive for COVID since the beginning of the pandemic. But in this past week alone, 101,000 pediatric cases were added. So every week, we're getting tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of cases of COVID in kids. This is not nothing, guys. And this is why this vaccine is so important. It's why it's exciting that it's here. It's why we've been waiting for it. It's why it's just awesome and just, okay, a few other things I want you guys to know. Alrighty. This is emergency use authorization. We talked about that. So we know that this vaccine provides over 90% protection against symptomatic COVID with kids who get the vaccine, which is really, really awesome. And remember that kids this young, 5 to 11 years old, they're going to get a third of the dose that older folks get. Okay. So they're going to get 10 micrograms, the 10 microgram dose. And the hope is that that dose will be just as effective with fewer of the side effects. The goal is always to do the most with I don't want to say the least, but you only want to do what you have to do to get the most sort of efficient, strategic combination of doses and things like that. Okay, and the hope is that kids won't have as many side effects. In fact, we do know from the studies that kids who were in the trials actually were less likely to have fever than, say, adults and older kids as well. So yes, there tends to be injection site pain and things like that, but the side effects were relatively, short-lived. They were self-limiting, and fever wasn't even, say, the number one side effect on the list, which is excellent. They're actually less likely to get fever. This is 2 doses, okay, and the doses would be given 3 weeks apart for the kids. Now, think about it this way, okay, guys. This is how I want you to think about it, or at least consider it, right? So we're in November. The fact and the timing of this vaccine, which we sort of anticipated would come around this time, actually gives you all time to give your kids, in many cases, 2 doses of the vaccine before Thanksgiving, and certainly before Hanukkah, Christmas, New Year, Kwanzaa, all the holidays that we celebrate at the end of the year. This is what's going to help give us peace of mind. Because remember, when getting together meant that, well, kids weren't vaccinated, they're in school. We know kids are sometimes little germ magnets. No offense, kids. But, now we can actually all have the reassurance, kids as well, that they're vaccinated. Remember, I think there's a lot of kids that are actually going to feel reassured. I've heard of a lot of kids who are excited, chomping at the bit to get this vaccine. Number one, they see the bigger kids getting it. They see the adults getting it. They hear so much being talked about. But they also know firsthand how COVID has affected our lives. They know that their school years have been disrupted. They have not been able to spend time with their friends and play sports and do things that they want to do. And many kids realize that getting vaccinated is the way out of that as well. So think about it this way. Many kids are out there wanting to get their vaccines just like we as adults were, because they understand the value of it. This is an opportunity. This is an opportunity to have your families almost mostly vaccinated by the holidays, which I think is a really amazing gift. There are going to be vaccination centers like literally opening up first thing in the morning. Like I said, I want you to check online, figure out where you need to go to get your kids vaccinated. Since we've had a number of months since we've gotten vaccines, we've kind of streamlined things. So it's not as crazy as it used to be, especially like in the very, very beginning. Remember those days? But this is actually what will give us peace of mind. I know there are a lot of parents out there that are excited to get their kids vaccinated. I'd love to know, once again, if you're just joining us, and thank you for coming on, let us know in the comments, right? Are you going to get your kids vaccinated? Are you on the fence? And if so, why? Are you not going to get your child vaccinated? And if so, why? Also, remember, I have my group, I Got the COVID Vaccine. This is a group on Facebook. I've got the description of that. I've got the link for that group right in the pinned comment underneath this video on Facebook, and on YouTube, it's in the description of the video. Join the group. That way you can hear other stories from parents who are getting their kids vaccinated. You can hear of the first parents who are getting their 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11-year-olds vaccinated starting tomorrow, if not tonight. Okay, so that you can hear from other parents, you can hear how their kids did, you can hear, anybody with a kid with asthma who got the vaccine, how did it go? This group is a positive group to really help us as we sort of navigate the waters of COVID. So please join the group. I will go and accept everybody right after this video, because I want you to join and kind of share things. I just think it's a very exciting day. I can't wait for my nieces to get the vaccine, and it's just exciting. This is what's going to help us get out of the pandemic. Remember, this opens the door for 28 million people, more people to get vaccinated. With that many more people getting vaccinated, the chances of COVID transmitting is going to exponentially drop, because there's going to be fewer people able to transmit it because they're going to be protected. This is exciting. This is really good news. So I want to know what you think. I want you to write in the comments. Also, by the way, hey, guys who are just joining me, I'm Dr. Jen Caudle. I know I jumped in and just started talking because I'm very excited today. I'm a practicing family physician, for those of you who don't know. I'm also an on-air health expert, and I do videos every day on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you guys for joining me. If you've not liked and followed my page on Facebook or subscribed to my channel on YouTube, I invite you to do so. And for those of you who are sending stars on Facebook, I cannot thank you enough. I will go back and individually thank you and say hello after this video. And for those of you on on YouTube who are sending super chats and super stickers. I so appreciate you. This is exciting. It really, really is. We have a lot of hope, and there's a lot of stuff for us to look forward to. I really feel like even though we're going into the winter time and the days are going to start getting shorter, and it's going to get dark, there's a lot of light at the end of the tunnels that we are looking down. A lot of light that we didn't have this time last year. Do you remember this time last year? This time last year was around election times. It was a high stress time, number one. Number two, we were also having an uptick in cases. An uptick that literally continued, even though we're in November, continued through like January, February, maybe even March. The highest numbers of cases we ever had. We lost a lot of people during that period of time. It was very stressful for a lot of reasons. The holidays were, quarantine holidays. It was tough. My mother sent me a care package, and I had oh, by the way, for those of you who are interested in exclusive content, my Dr. Jen Superstars group on Facebook, we did a Thanksgiving Zoom. We also did like a holiday Christmas Hanukkah Zoom as well. We played games, there were prizes, all sorts of stuff. So if you're interested in things like that, make sure you join my Dr. Jen Superstars group. You can find that underneath the video. But my point being is we were all making concessions and doing different things last year. This year, we have a chance to have a more normal holiday. So I can't be anything but excited. I'm excited for you all. I'm excited for us. And I would say, you know what, parents, get your kids vaccinated, please. If you have questions and you're saying, I just don't know, I don't know if this is right for my kid, my child, please talk to their doctor. If you take your child to a particular doctor, I'm trusting you do that because you trust them. So trust them with this information too. Don't get your information. Look, you don't have to get it from me. If you don't want to get your information from me, that's fine. But get it from a trusted source like a doctor, okay? Not your neighbors, not people not your coworkers. Please get it from a doctor because this is what's going to get us out of this pandemic. So let me know when you're getting your kid vaccinated. Also, if you already have appointments, I'm wondering if places are already booking appointments, like if there's a scheduling. I've heard some places actually having schedules open. Let me know if you already had appointments. Comment also in the I Got the COVID vaccine group. Let us know how you feel. Let us know what your concerns are in the comments so that people can help you through it. Okay. That's what we are all here for, guys. I am Dr. Jen. Super excited about this news. I feel like I said before, there's a light at the end of this tunnel. So let's keep hope alive because we have lots of reasons to do that. And, hang in there. We are going to get through this together. As I have always said, that we are going to do that. And I'll be back soon. You guys know I do lives twice a week, but hang in there for more videos. Get those kids vaccinated. Woo! And guys, I love you. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Bye, YouTube.